Hey folks, it's fairly standard Tuesday morning, and I promised, or at least I said to a client yesterday, that I would record a quick and easy shoulder stretch, a series of shoulder stretches for when you're actually feeling quite stiff and tight across the top of the shoulders, back to the shoulders. So if you're familiar with yoga, you know that there are some really strong and elaborate shoulder stretches. We're not doing them. These are nice, sort of straightforward, accessible, gentle stretches into the shoulders. They're going to be especially good if you're a person who works a lot at desks, and at the end of the day you just need something to release upper body. And they're going to be quick. So we're going to start in child's pose. Let's come to any version of child's pose that is okay for you. And this first set of stretches, you can do them all in child's pose, but I normally bring them up into melting heart so that you've got a bit of an inversion. First of all, so any version of child's pose, so early in the morning for stretch by legs. So you can have your legs wide enough that your body has space. But they don't need to go out super wide. If you like the old-fashioned traditional version, you can have that. But I actually think it's probably a good idea, especially if it's end of the day, beginning of the day, having this little bit of very gentle back bend in your lower back is not terrible, rather than curling it up and closing off. You can have that right at the end. So let's just have a few breaths. And I've got my arms lengthened forward. So it's just to start drawing the shoulder blades up. When I work with shoulder stretching, I'm always thinking about moving the shoulder blades around, moving the arms in the joints, getting some rotation in the upper body. So just softening in a little bit longer. If you feel like you need something more intense, I've got to say my left shoulder is aching today. I think it's because I was so annoyed with being cold all day yesterday, having permafrost, that I overcooked all of my yoga practices, including the one on the video that I recorded. But if you want to intensify, you can lift your hands into what my teacher used to call cages for cupcakes, cupcake hands. So fingers come, you come up onto the fingertips, you lift the palms of the hands and you lift the arms off the floor, and it just intensifies into the shoulders. And sometimes this feels pretty good, and sometimes it just feels really gnarly and tight and gross. So if I were you, I wouldn't do this. If it's tight and it's gross, just put your hands back down. It might free up, it might not. Just, I wasn't expecting this to feel good because traditionally it never did. So I'm a bit surprised that I've lifted my arms and my shoulders feel right. Lovely. Let's put the hands down again, palms together, thumbs crossed, elbows stay on the floor. Let's draw the thumbs back to the back of the head. This is technically an arm stretch, but it does feel nice. If you want to intensify sensation in triceps, which is the backs of the arms, you can just wiggle your elbows forward. Keep them down, elbows stay on the floor. Lovely. Keep breathing. Nice. So release the arms. Walk them over to the right. Go over to the right and take a side stretch. So when you take a side stretch, thinking about the movement of the shoulders, we're just going to draw. I've walked my hands over to the right. I'm going to draw my hip back, my left hip back to the left. To intensify, or you just go softly if you don't want to intensify. So think about, we're stretching out the side body, which is brilliant to do, but also just starting to draw the shoulders across, up and across a little bit. Not hunching, not pulling them up actively, we're just drawing, just creating length in the side of the body. If you want to intensify, you can take your left hand over your right hand, and that's going to deepen. Now for me, that's a little bit too much on this side because it's my left shoulder that's a little achy. I think today might have to be a little bit more of a rest day of the class. Have a deep breath, walk the hands to center, and then we go back the other way. So there's no real warm-up when we do these sort of quick and easy stretches. You can piece together the bits that you like. Once you know them, you don't really need the video. It's all straightforward stuff. There's no need to warm up or cool down. All of this stuff should start to open up your shoulder blades. Stretching across, remember you can take your right hand over if you want to. Deep breaths, and when you are ready, walk the hands back to center, and we're just going to come up to tabletop position for a moment. Let's have 3 rounds of cat-cow. So we'll just draw the shoulders back, nice neutral spine. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the tailbone. Exhale, round the spine and sit back on the heel. You can slide the arms forward if you want. As you inhale, come forward all the way through. Lift the spine high, exhale to round back. And just do that a few more times, bending the elbows as you come forward into cow pose, rounding and sliding back as you come through your cat pose towards extended child's pose. You just want to wake up the spine a little bit and get this nice little movement through the arms and the shoulders here. Do like this. If you wanted to build a little bit more movement in after sitting back into child's pose, you can lift into downward facing dog and then come back down. But first, let's have thread the needle. So thread the needle, you can do it dynamically for the twists, or you can hold for the whole stretch. I'm going to do half and half. So 3 dynamic, 3 breaths held, but you can choose one or the other. Most people tend to go for just the held stretch if their shoulders are tight. Anyway, let's inhale, open your right arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, float it underneath, reach over, underneath the left arm, reach over and hover. Inhale to open up, twist, exhale, reach under and hover. One more, and then we will hold for 3 breaths. Otherwise, if you hold all the way through, you get a nice 6 breaths. Last one, open up, and this time when we thread under, just going to bring the upper body all the way across, turning your head to the left, relax your left arm. Palm is facing upwards on the right arm, thumb in the air. So I like this variation because I like the inversion, being upside down. Some people, especially if you're tired, it's been a long day, you can sit right back into child's pose and have thread the needle here, and that feels really good too. Occasionally people need something a bit more intense, so I'll just show you that if you're looking to intensify for reasons of stretch sensation. You can take your left arm up, so you're opening your chest to the left a little bit, and then maybe wrap that arm around, maybe around the waist, maybe with the palm facing back, and maybe put your hand on your thigh if you can reach, and just rotate. So you're gazing more towards the ceiling, your chest is rotating upwards. I find this always too intense because my shoulders are reasonably mobile. I don't really want to go that deep, but some people really like it. And there are days when I'm warm and feeling really sort of bendy. That can feel really good. Okay, so when we're ready, press your left hand into the floor, lengthen up, back to tabletop, open your right arm up, come back into your open twist. Right hand comes down over to the left. Remember, you can choose to stay still or keep moving, or half and half as we're doing. Exhale, draw your left arm under, palm up, hover. Inhale, open up. Exhale, close your twist. Inhale, open up. So I'm not putting any intensity into this. It's just nice, fluid movements, reaching to my own taste and being very gentle with this arm, except when it's not feeling amazing. So this is the last one I'm going to open up. And then as I exhale, sweep the arm underneath, set it down, settle in. Breathe. Just a reminder to intensify. Your right arm can go up, rotate the chest to the right.
And then if you want to, you can wrap the arm around your back for the bind, palm facing behind you, and then maybe rotate a little more. You can see it's not very comfortable. My arm just starts to sort of rotate in strange directions. So for me, this is a posture where it is beneficial to just focus on the restful shoulder stretch. As a person who gets quite knotty shoulders, and you can be in your child's pose with this as well. Nice. So when you're ready, you can come up. And let's, I'm just going to do two more things. We're going to open windows, and then we're going to have a little bit of an alligator stretch, and then I will show you the cat-cow variation with downward dog. So let's roll onto our fronts. Take the arms out wide. So we'll start with this one. Arms go out wide. Head, forehead can be on the floor, and let's use the right hand. Turn your head to the right, to use your right hand to rotate your whole body onto its right side. So your right left arm is lengthening behind you and stretching out the left side of your chest, and the left shoulder blade is compressing on the back. So from here, you can either stay here as you are with legs extended. You can bend the top knee and put the foot flat on the floor, which is going to open through the hips quite nicely. I really, at the moment, I'm enjoying lengthening the leg away because it gives me hip flexor and quad stretch. Actually, all the hips feel fine. It's just the shoulders that are sore today. So I'm going to go for this variation. And this is the opposite sort of movement to thread the needle, which is why I like it so much. With thread the needle, you close the chest, you stretch the shoulder blades forwards. With this one, you're drawing the shoulder blades back and opening up the chest. So just rest here for a moment. I find with shoulders, I mean, with everything, it's really important to remember all of your muscles are connected. So you can't just stretch out one. Sometimes the way to get to shoulders is to release tension. Well, always release tension in the chest. Mobilize the spine. Give the other muscles the warmth and the movement to help support the shoulder. The shoulders are incredible. They're filled with really powerful muscles, but also the bones, the shoulders are actually very delicate. They're astoundingly delicate. Your shoulder blades are surprisingly, the scapula is surprisingly delicate, fine bones. They're small. They move around a lot and they're held in place by this incredible network of muscles that look a bit like wings, actually. Anyway, hopefully that's long enough to get a few nice long breaths. And when you're ready, we'll just rotate carefully forward. So it is morning time. I'm just preparing for my morning class. So I'm actually quite crunchy, and this is probably going to do me good. Right arm goes out to the side. I'm just going to swivel around. This time, right arm goes out to the side. Turn your head to the left. Use your left arm to rotate your body onto the right. Squeeze that shoulder blade. Check in, just make sure the right arm is comfortable where it is. You can do anything with the left arm, and then do what you need to with your top leg, if there's anything you need to do with your top leg, to just either introduce opening through the hips, that length for the quad and the hip flexor, front of the hip and the quad, the front of the thigh. For me, the most stable is the one with the knee bent, foot flat on the floor. Some people in this posture actually just bend the knees so that they feel stable, and the first priority, as always, we like to think about first priorities in all of these postures, is the right, where the armpit connects to the chest, and the right shoulder blade. It's very nice. I have found it really interesting with this little twist that people on the days when they need it, you can audibly hear in classes people sighing with relief and just settling in when they find exactly that right position. And I have noticed, I don't know if it's a thing or not, I've noticed that people with young children really love this one, and you spend so much time carrying babies around. Babies are heavy, aren't they? But also breastfeeding. I think this stretch across the chest and always carrying children, and there's so much lifting and carrying involved with being a parent. I've seen my brother and my sister-in-law. It's they're both crunchy. They're crunchy people now. So this, I think, is a nice one. When you're ready, let's come back to center. So we are almost done. Carefully come back to center. And we'll come back. So tuck the toes, hands underneath the shoulders draw back. Let's just have a quick low lift cobra. So just light, come up a little way, just a little way for the back. Then take the arms out wide, legs out wide, and we'll have a low seal. So your arms, your fingers point outwards, elbows drawing back. Pressing to the hands lightly and just lengthen up. So this should feel nice and broad across the whole of the front of the chest. Pelvis is down, but my navel is lifted. Arms are straight, and there's just a lovely sense of openness. The shoulders are drawing away from the ears, and sometimes you have to fiddle with the position of your hands to get this just right. Legs are wide. Let's lower down. Gorgeous, just what I needed. Hands under shoulders. Let's tuck the toes. As I say, you can stop at any point. For the shoulder stretches, that's actually enough. You don't need to go any further. If you feel like you want to mobilize a little bit more and just get some deeper movement in, let's do cat-cow dog, for those who want it. And then we will finish off with child's pose with chest expansion. So that'll be our last move. So we're just coming up to tabletop. We'll do a few rounds of this. Shoulders drawing back and down, neutral spine for you, whatever neutral means for you. Remember, neutral isn't flat, it's naturally curving. Inhale, lift your tailbone, ripple the spine down, lift your heart, gaze forward. Exhale, tuck the toes, round the spine, sit back into extended child's pose. I normally have to walk my hands forward a little bit at this point. Inhale, square up, lift the hips, draw the heels back into a little downward facing dog or a normal downward facing dog, but you can keep your knees bent. On your exhale, belly can draw in a little bit, knees come down and forward into tabletop. Inhale, lift your heart, lift your tailbone, cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, cat pose, roll back to extended child's pose with tucked toes. Inhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog, your version. Will be very soft in the knees. Exhale, knees down, forward, tabletop. Inhale, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. Exhale, round the spine, cat pose, scoot back, extended child's pose. Inhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Exhale, tabletop, knees down. Inhale, cow, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. Notice the movement in your shoulder joints here. Exhale, round spine, scoop back. Extended child. There's cat pose to extended child. Inhale, downward facing dog, lift your hips. Keep those shoulder blades broad. Exhale, knees down. One more, and if you want to hold your dog for a pedal, you can. Inhale, cow pose. Lift your heart, lift your tailbone, sink the spine. Exhale, round spine, cat pose through to extended child's pose with tucked toes. And then inhale, lift your hips up and back, lengthen into dog if you wish to. Otherwise, you can come down straight into child's pose. We'll meet you there in a moment. Have a little pedal. If you like down facing dog, this is a great opportunity. Have a little pedal. We'll do the standard, not too flamboyant stretches. Little pedal, swing the heels to the left, toes to the right, and just let your hips lengthen over to the left, stretch out the right side of the body. Inhale to center, exhale, knees up, heels to the right, toes to the left. Let those hips sink to the right, stretch out the left side of the body. Come to center, and then optional, walk your feet forward one step so heels end up where your toes were. Walk your hands back a little bit. Left hand comes to center, right hand to the outside of left ankle. This is totally optional, doesn't work for everyone. And just twist your chest to the left, gazing out under the left armpit. This is nice because it has a real muscular, a real joint feel for me. Right hand comes to the floor, left hand to the outside of right ankle. And when I use my elbow to when I take my elbow out to the side and rotate my body so that I'm gazing under my right armpit, chest rotating to the right, I can really feel the work in the shoulders, muscles switching on. Come back to center. Walk yourself back to your wide downward facing dog. Let's bring the knees down, take them out wide. Actually, let's not take them out wide. Unless you want to. Let's have the knees parallel, but with enough space for the body. So you're not curving up too much. Sit back into child's pose. Take your hands behind you and just float your upper body up. Chest expansion, optional. Weave your fingers together behind you. Sit tall on your knees if you can. Inhale, lift your heart, just squeeze the elbows together. So we're lifting the heart, squeezing the elbows together, maybe a gentle lift of the chin. We're not flinging the head back. We're just slightly lengthening out the front of the throat. Deep breaths. And actually, this feels pretty good. You could stay here. As you exhale, I'm just going to make a little space between the knees. As you exhale, hinge forward from the hips back towards your child's pose. Doesn't matter if your hips lift. Soften down, and you could stay here. You could lengthen your arms away from you for chest expansion. If you don't want to do any of these, you can just let your hands settle to wherever you want them. If you want to, you can come up a little higher. Do you see what I did? Come up a little higher, and then allow your shoulders to roll back and your chest to pull forward, and your arms might be able to lift off your bum. And then maybe your arms will come up. You can see how tight I am. Normally my arms will come right up above my head. Not today. So this is chest expansion or double angle pose in child's pose. I'm going to show you how to do that with a strap. So if you want to do it with a strap, grab it. Place your strap on the palms of your hands with your thumbs inwards. So fingers pointing behind, palms of the hands are up, straps in the palms of the hands. Lengthen that strap tightly in line with the shoulders. So your arms are lined up with your shoulders, strap is pulled tightly. As you exhale, lower down, and maybe your arms will lift. I just find it absolutely awful with the strap. I really, really hate this posture with the strap. So I'm not going to stay here, but I'm just going to release that because it's enough for me actually. And I've got classes to do, so I'm going to have opportunities, but my shoulders are feeling nice and warm. Everything is feeling a little bit oiled. Everything's feeling a bit released. And for me, it's perfect now to just rest here in my version of child's pose. I've had my chest expansion. And I do like arms down by the sides in child's pose with palms upwards. I often see people constantly stretching their arms forward, but there's something to remember about shoulders and all muscles. Continual stretching won't change anything. You need to bring softness and release back in as well. So this for me is softness and release, letting the shoulders curl around you like a lovely great big scarf. Feels really nourishing, very, very soothing, very relaxing. So if it's the end of your day, this curled up posture is perfect for just quietening everything. Hormonal system, mind, body, everything starts to quiet. If you've got the rest of your day to come, as I have, it's not a bad idea to finish this little stretch in melting hot. So bum in the air, lined up over the hips, walk the hands forward, sink the chest down. It is just a gentle, energizing back bend, just a little bit upside down. So it's bringing some energy into the body, into the mind, into the hormonal system. This back bends tend to be energizing. So for those of you for whom it's morning, it is morning for me, it's barely 9 o'clock. Stretch it out. Let's have 2 more breaths together and then we're done. Soften into the belly, last breath. And we're going to walk the hands back in, back to our seated posture. You can have a little bit of a wiggle of the shoulders just to see how they're feeling. Hopefully, it's just the ticket. Everything does feel better, and I shouldn't sound surprised, but the kind of ache I had this morning, I wasn't expecting it to go that easily. But hey, awesome. Have a good one. Enjoy your refreshed shoulders. See you later.